Hey, my name is Anthony, and I am here to tell you about my experience working with Futures Abroad. For those who don't know me, in senior year, I attended a French high school, and I had the stringiest of schedules. I started every day at 8 a.m. and finished at 4 p.m. twice a week, and at 6 p.m. 3 times a week. Getting home afterwards was no easy task. I had to face an hour-long commute before getting back home, before eating and starting my homework. By the time I was done homework, it would have been easily 12 a.m., and it was time to go to sleep. As you can imagine, it was pretty hard having any sort of life while dealing with the insane workload and trying to achieve the highest of grades possible in order for me to be accepted in the best of institutions. That's why I chose to work with Futures Abroad. I applied to 10 different universities in Canada, and you can assume that such an added workload would have probably pushed me over the edge. But believe it or not, Futures Abroad submitted my documents for me, made a checklist and a deadline for me to follow, and were willing to always review my responses in order for me to maximize my odds of getting in. For instance, when applying to the University of British Columbia, the guidance counselor reviewed my answers to make sure that they were good enough for my application. People often ignore that in Canada, in order for you to graduate high school, you need to have done at least 40 hours of community work. So when applying to a Canadian university, you are competing against students who already have pretty impressive resumes. But you're in luck because when you work with Futures Abroad, it will offer you a weekly meetup where you can actively work to strengthen your resume in anticipation for your application. Lastly, if you are someone that requires a student visa to go study in a particular country, Futures Abroad will guide you through the process to make sure that you are not overwhelmed with the added administrative work. In senior year, you should be focusing on your grades, not on a particular detail in your application process. So if you don't want to be overwhelmed, then seek help at Futures Abroad.